So I was debating this with the biggest age cut that I've ever heard. He said that when he was 13, he was so retarded. He didn't use that word, but that's his opinion or claim of how all 13-year-olds are. They are so retarded that you can trick them into a van by offering them some candy. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have the physical brain capacity to understand the implications of that, how it could be dangerous. They don't have the ability to learn it even if you teach them, because their brain isn't it's retarded, right? And this is what, well, this is the most extreme version of what the normies believe. I mean, it's the most, it's like a parody version on it. I never have seen anybody take it that far. It's the peak feminism, right? Peak feminist delusion in Norway. Apparently, kids growing up today, those who have now reached about 20 years old, they have been indoctrinated with this myth. Probably not to that extent, but this guy actually claimed that he himself would have been like that at 13. Which is a literal retard, right? Or somebody with a mental age of less than 5 years old. That's how he claims the 13-year-olds are. Like just naturally by physical limitation. So either he's a retard and then he's still a retard because you don't develop more brain capacity after 13 years old. And you, of course, you can believe he's a retard by that statement because who believes something so insane? But there's another dimension here. That's the moral virtue signal. Like this belief is associated with what a good person believes, right? He condones killing somebody who doesn't believe this. So he's fine with people wanting to kill me. That's just what we should do to this, and he thinks it's like disagreeing with his retardation. It would be like flat Earth. That's literally the example he used. And then he claimed he was gonna look at some sources to see it, and then or even justify his claim, but he hasn't done that so far. Of course he can't. This is our witchcraft belief, right? It's the witch hunt of our times and the associated mythology. It's what you have to believe if you're an army. It's like, well, they didn't get convinced by some kind of scientific inquiry. They got convinced because this is what everybody knows. I think this is what everybody knows, so we don't need to examine this very closely. We don't need to question the authorities. They told us this once when we were 10 years old or something, and you can't change that mythology that you grew up in. It's a folk belief. And what's so funny is that they know it based their age-cuckery on at the pseudoscientific thing, so they think they have a scientific explanation. They're just intolerant bigots, like the old religious zealots, right? So they're so easy to make fun of, so easy to debunk. You can't do that against a religious zealot. You can simply say you're an atheist and you don't believe in his God, but you can't say, given that God exists, that he's not this anti-sex maniac who wants to punish us for our sexuality, right? You can't argue against the concept of sin from outside of that religion because you just reject all of it. So it doesn't affect the true believers. But if you're a true believer in science, supposedly, then you have your own data to defeat you. So in a way, it's good that the feminists have this pseudoscience instead of a morality. They have a pseudoscientific morality, or they have bigotry that they base on what they think is science. So I challenge you to debate this with me. Let's see if you can back it up. Come on!